Welcome everyone to the LIBERcast. I just want to uh, acknowledge you guys for express my gratitude. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, um, but I just want to tell you people how much I appreciate all your support, and I think we should all join up together, and this is why I created the LIBERcast. Um, we needed to found a neutral ground for exchange, and I mean, we have so much schism into the movement, into the communities. We have so much problem for communication, and we have so much things that we're confused, and people keep bringing this problem. This is a kind of revolution that I think it's very non-constructive for the whole community. I mean, I'm not talking about the people who are new to this work, and I'm talking about the people who are already in the community. And I'm taking I wanted to have Marja to talk about this and expose this, because I already did it. I already started, but I wanted to put an emphasis on this schism and this cognitive dissonance in the movement. So if you want to introduce yourself, Marja, and talk about your work, and where we stumble upon your work.
Thank you, Fred, for having me. And it's my pleasure to be here. And everybody can find me on my website, lovetruthandbeauty.com, and my YouTube channel, Love, Truth, and Beauty, which is the second YouTube channel because the first one kind of went away in 2015 because I was naughty, snarky, a little too in your face. So, I'm glad that we're talking about this because I think as a community, and especially those of us who've been around for a while, I really feel that we have a moral responsibility to uphold not just living with natural law, but actually doing the great work. And I'm not talking about creating more and more content. Okay. It's not just about content. And I say this over and over again, and people are not getting it because it's easy to struggle with the content than it is to struggle with your inner content and the bullshit that you trick yourself with to not look at, to bury yourself in content creation while your relationships and your children are suffering. And I have seen enough of it. I'm not going to name names, it's not necessary, but you know who you all are. And I'm hearing this, that, and the other thing, and I don't like gossip. But when I see pictures, Polaroids of actual damage, I don't think that's cool. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And those of you who know my work, I'm a major lifelong advocate of children. And there are way too many children within this movement who are being neglected by their parents because their parents are too busy being on camera. And I'm not, I'm endeavoring to not be judgmental, but there it is. Okay. There it is, plain. And those of you who know me, I don't hold back any punches. So I'm just going to say it. And you can hate on me, do what you like. I don't really care. Okay. I mean, I've been around this whole genre for over 40 years, and I'm not going away. and you can get the platform. I'm not going away. So I'm here really as an advocate for the internal marriage of the masculine and feminine within, because that is where the great work gets mastered, my loves. It's within. And if you don't get good with yourself, which means you have to do the great work, the great inner work, the shadow work of excavating all your own mind control, that it's controlling all your relationships inwardly and outwardly, okay, you're in big trouble. You're just, in my book, a poseur of this work. You're not really doing it, even though you're putting out fabulous content. Yes, Heros Gamos, right on. And this is what we need to really work toward. And no one's having the conversation about it. You know, we're all going on and on about government being slavery. Okay, we already know that. Okay. Don't hate on me because I don't talk about that shit anymore. Everybody else can talk about it. Been there, done that. I've been talking about it since the 70s. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about how we can get beyond this mind control programming that is happening in our daily lives, in and out, daily, evening, ad nauseum. And then what we're doing is we're escaping into creating content while we're neglecting our children, neglecting our child support payments, etc. Okay, so I just said a mouthful right there. I'm sorry, Fred. I have a tendency to go off into a tangent because I feel adamant about this, you know, and you know, and a lot of it is my own torch of like really, I don't want to leave people behind, you know. I really learned through the school of hard knocks that it's not enough to create content. You have to get your life together. You have to get your values together, align them with natural law, and you have to make the changes in your outward life. But how does that happen? You've got to change it within. You've got to do that great inner work.
Totally.
You have to call yourself from your first mind control, which is your first cult, which is your family of origin. You have to get that shit straight. It's got to go. Okay? And a lot of people don't want to do that. And I understand. It's tricky. It's very, very, very tricky to do that work. And it's not easy because it's going to bring up every bit of doubt within you that the matrix wants you to hop on so you can stop doing the work and you can continue getting high, getting drunk, fucking your brains out, you know, being addicted to porn and purporting to be doing the great work because you're doing content. Okay. I mean, you have to balance both sides of your brain, my friends, and both sides of the equation. There's no separation. Okay. So this dance that we have to do, we got to do it. And it starts being centered within yourself.
So
How's that, Fred?
we're talking about inner work, yeah. So let
Yes.
me take 2 minutes to acknowledge uh, Caroline Riley website about shadow work. Um, she's brilliant, and her work. I started the course, and the course is very good for beginners, for the curious, for the already initiated like me.
Beautiful.
There's valuable stuff there. So I
Yes,
invite
because the
you to.
work doesn't stop. You know, the
Yeah,
work
it's
doesn't
never
stop.
ending. It's
Yes,
never ending.
it is a constant hitting the reset again and again and again because it's too easy to snooze. It's too easy to snooze and be distracted by the outer screen of the matrix or the shit that goes on in your inner screen because you don't like what's going on in the matrix. Okay. So going on and on and on and getting argumentative about the shitstones. Is it good to know about the shitstones? Fuck yeah. You should know about it because you should know what you're aligning with. All right. Because in the excavation that you need to do to egress from all facets of statism, okay, you got to know how things work because you got to know how to navigate it so that you can protect yourself, your family, live your life based on your values, this is not an easy thing. It's scary because, and you have to do it in a way where you can waltz in and out of the matrix and the shitstems undetected, because I'm telling you, if you get in the crosshairs, they will come after you. They will come after you. And that is not fun. And I've been there and it wasn't fun. So it's a very tender place to be. And I know that a lot of what I say, I come across very harsh. I'm actually very, very tender, because those of you who are creating the content, I know that you can do much better. I know. I hold you all large. That is the reason why you're doing this work. But you can't have one foot in, okay, the shitstem in terms of your own inner psychology and inner landscape, and be out doing the great work of creating great content to disseminate the fallacies of the shitstems. You have to be aligned. And I call that alignment heart to mind, body, soul coordination. This is when you are aligned in your heart, your feelings, your emotions, your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, your body, your actions, the stuff that you do, and then the shit you don't do or do not continue to do and stop doing. And that all gets aligned with your soul. So this is what I'm talking about. That's what I call unity consciousness right there, is heart, mind, body, soul coordination. It's not some airy fairy new age bullshit thing about, oh, we're all going to be aligned and we're all going to be one. Please stop. Stop. I can't stand that crap. I really can't stand it. So, I just implore each and every one of you, and I invite each and every one of you to do that deep work. I know it's not fun, but you know what? It's hella interesting, because you get to see the truth about what your inner dialogue, that is your self-talk, what you say about yourself. Because I assure you, when I got this, I witnessed that a lot of my self-talk that I directed out into the world was not very nice. I wasn't very nice to myself. And as a result of that faulty self-talk, the world, people reflected back to me that faulty self-talk. Okay. So we have to understand that when we're talking about the great work, we're talking about that alignment of heart, mind, body, soul coordination. And this work is not easy. It's an ongoing thing. Spiritual awakening, being woke, means holding your attention, owning your attention. It doesn't mean the matrix owns your attention. And that's part of the tricky thing about doing this work, is that we can get very distracted by the matrix shit shows that we witness in the outer screen in our daily lives when we're out interacting with the world, or we're looking at the boob tube, for those of you who still watch television, or witness something that you don't like, okay, or researching something you don't like. It's easy to have a reaction, and that reaction will get translated in your head. And so if the matrix owns you in the outer screen, or owns you here in your inner screen, and you don't get into your center screen, this is our center of wokeness, kids. Simple. And it's not a one-off event. It happens again and again and again and again and again and again, because we are programmed to be distracted by this, that, and the other thing outside ourselves. So doing the great inner work, you can actually get more intimate with your inner mechanism and your inner landscape, and find out what turns you on, what lights you up, what repulses you, what makes you indifferent, what lights you up and repulses you. Okay, that's the tricky thing, is to come face to face with your attractions and your repulsions that are kind of blended into one point. And that's always interesting work to do. Wouldn't you agree, Fred? I know you've done this work.
Yes, actually, I went through. I don't want to be to bore people with that, but I actually reached
a milestone in my shadow work, and it was very difficult, but the result and the achievement are worth the fighting, worth uh, having to look into this darkness of our own self, the darkest recessions of our own mind, and the things that you can dig up from there are not. It's not fun. It's there.
No.
There's no fun there.
What was
I
your biggest challenge, if I might ask?
um my biggest challenge was accepting the things about myself. These inner demons, I tried at the beginning to get rid of them, and then I realized that I could not do it,
Yes.
and I decided to learn to deal with it and then live with it.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
now it has become a tool for me.
Yes. That's a beautiful thing, because in truth, when you really start looking at it, okay, evil doesn't reside outside of us, people. It resides within our own hearts. And we have to look at that. We've got to have a very interesting look at what it is that really gets us over the edge where we would step over the line. And that work can be very, very scary, because in our family of origin, this is what I've discovered. And I work with mostly survivors of trafficking. These are actual people who have been trafficked by their families, or it's generational, or they were kidnapped and were part of rape camps during war. It's not pretty, my God. And what happens is there is this work that you have to do, where you have to reach into the very deepest core of your soul and face it and claim that you are worthy of that soul, that regardless of what happened to you, that you are worthy, and that you are worthy of thriving, and you are worthy of being happy, and you're worthy of creating a life. And you have to excavate all those demons, because they are inside you. And when we deal with sex abuse, we're not only dealing with demons inside us, we're dealing with demons that were literally, pardon my French, pounded into us through unconscious rape and torture and all of that, all of the most egregious of human atrocities, because that energy exchange gets dumped into our bodies. And then you have to do the great work of excavating that. So, and many of us come from tribal lineages where rape and incest and abuse, that is the norm. Okay. And those of us who do that great work, and we're often labeled the black sheep of the family. What's wonderful about us black sheep is if we can get beyond the self-destruction period, okay, what you do, you become that one person within your family lineage on either side of the lineage, and both sides, you create this domino effect where you actually are the game changer, okay, because your conscious awareness and your awakening, what you're doing is you are not bypassing the family tribal shame from each lineage. You are actually embracing it. And that is embracing your demons. Okay. You are embracing and feeling the entirety of the shame that you inherited, or that was dumped on you, because no one in your family lineage on in either direction had the courage or the wherewithal to own it. And that, my friends, is the that is really the crux of the great inner shadow work, is to embrace the shame, embrace the trauma, embrace all of that, and feel it in its entirety. So you don't have to pass it on to your children, or you don't have to default to getting stoned and high and looking at your porn and doing all the fucked up things that you know are not good for you, because you don't want to face your pain and you don't want to face those demons. Okay. You want to bypass the great work and then pose as if you're doing it. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourselves. Don't do that to your children. Okay. Because this is a huge responsibility that we each have for ourselves. And we have to choose life. You choose, when you do this work, you choose to incarnate in your life on purpose, with purpose. And that is the great work in its totality. It's the inner work and then it's the outer work that you are offering to the planet to give back. All right. Because it's going to take all of us, my loves, to get everyone still enslaved within the matrix to exit the matrix and then learn the skills so that we can waltz in and out of the matrix undetected. And that's when life gets fun. And so, that's kind of the upshot of doing this work, is that once you get into the groove and you really see how powerful and how amazingly epic, awesome you are, I can't even, I can't speak for you, but I want that for you. I see that for all of you. And that means that we have to get down and do it. There's no pretending. Right, Fred? And I know for you, you have a relationship, you have children. And so that is a big test to the wherewithal of being able to do the great work, inner and outer, raise a family, have a loving relationship that isn't filled with toxicity and fucking drama and bullshit and unconsciousness, where you're aligned with natural law. I mean, hello, this is, it's a tall order for most people, and most people will not do it. They won't do it because they're either too lazy or too distracted. I'll do it later. And I can't tell you how many men and women who try to work with me, and I say try to work with me because they come to me with their dramas. And we all have drama, okay? I've had drama. I've had major fucking drama because I was not aligned. And when you're not aligned and you have this upheaval in your personal life, okay, if you reach out for help and you don't do the bullet point in the order, actually, they're numerical in my book. If you don't do that homework, you're kidding yourself. All right. And I have people who will literally spend so much money with me, but not do the fucking homework. And they expect to do it, get this all cleared by not excavating the mind control, because a lot of the homework is reprogramming your mind. Okay. You are taking control of how you think. You are up-leveling your thought quality. You are up-leveling your emotional countenance. You are up-leveling the actions that you take and eliminating all the shit you do that harm you and other people. Do you all understand? Of course you do. Okay. I'm probably preaching to the choir. Hopefully I'm not. Hopefully there's some of you out there that have never fucking heard of me, don't know what the fuck my deal is, why I'm ranting. And if that's the case and this gets through, fucking awesome. Okay? Fucking awesome. Because, there are way too many zombies in the Matrix pretending. And when I'm talking about the zombies in the Matrix, I'm talking about people who are sleepwalking through their lives with their scripts that they receive from their families, from society, from poop culture. I mean, from their what is it? It's that sort of spectator reality where people imitate their favorite celebrities. What the fuck, people? I mean, it just fucking blows me away. And that's Instagram right there. You can go to Instagram and hit any of those fucking profiles that are just ridiculous. And they're just so fucking, look at me in my perfect life. No, That is not what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm talking about real deal excavation of the blood and guts and gore that is stuck in your mind that keeps you looping around the self talk that tells you that you are a piece of shit, you are a loser, you're fat, you're ugly, you don't have it going on, you never will, it's too fucking late, you're too old, you're too this, you're too that, you're not enough, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm telling you, those are big, fat fucking lies. Okay. You are all divine in the flesh and you're all here to move formless in the form. And the matrix and all the mind control and pop culture want you to remain zombie spectators of them. Okay. Don't fucking fall for it. Do not fall for it. Don't do it. Okay. Because if you do, you're not doing the great work at all. No.
Let's
You're
start
just,
let's start at the beginning, because
yes.
you're giving the slap there, and I enjoy it very much. Um, let's talk
Forgive
about
me.
the basis.
Yes.
Okay, so I like to start from the bottom up. So you gave solution, and I want to expose some things, because
Yes.
I think there's cognitive dissonance, and I talked about it on the discussion table. I think it was the fourth or the fifth one, and I want to hear uh, your opinion about this. I mean, you have these people who are we're not gonna name names or whatever. We're not there to throw people under the bus, but
They can throw me under the bus, though.
I mean, I don't they don't need to, you know.
Yes.
We're
They
there
already
because
have.
we're doing the adult work here. Okay, the LIBERcast, when I'm getting someone and we're talking at the table discussion, I'm bringing the adults. So what I meant to say is that there's a lot of people who are in the freedom movement, and the great work, who are saying things, and they're doing the complete contrary. We're assisting into a complete inversion of society and culture, and
Yes.
this community is not impervious to that.
No, it's not. It's satanic.
I mean, it's fairly blatant for me. You know, I observed this since 3 or 4 years now. We have these cycles of cult and creeds spawning from the community. We have gatekeeping. We have ghosting. We have rejection from other information, from other sources, from the outside. So I explained. I went to through that a little bit in the discussion, and I didn't got the answer that I hoped. But I just want to bring that, because I think it's fairly serious. You know, when you were talking about the seriousness of the great work, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think there's a lot of people who are learning the phrases and the catchy phrases and the catchy words by heart, and then they're repeating it without any substance behind it to sustain it.
Yes.
I don't know if I use the right word for that, but um, what do you think about this cognitive dissonance and this moral relativism into the great work movement?
I've witnessed it myself. You know, I've witnessed it myself. It's one thing to talk about it. It's a completely different thing to live it. And living it has a very deep consequences where you have to, with great intention and great sacrifice, clear the decks of your life to be able to embody it. Okay. You can't bullshit people because people are going to see right through it that you're just lying about what it is that you're doing. Okay. And it's easy to hide behind a computer. It's easy to hide behind scripts and talk about, all the different iterations, all the different levels, all the different systems within natural law. But are you really living it? Because that's not easy in and of itself. We live in a society where I don't know one person who has actually extricated themselves from all the shit stems. I have not. I own it. I own a house. Okay. If I was to extricate myself from that, I really don't need to be owning a house. I need to be doing other things. Okay. So it's like there's this fine line where people are just like, they're not realizing that when they spew all about natural law and they're not living it, you're actually going against it in and of itself, right? Okay. And the cognitive dissonance, I feel, is exactly why people need to do the great work, because you have to figure out how you are going to align with these principles within and without throughout every facet of your life. How are you going to raise children? How are you going to do that? How are you going to hold a relationship? How are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to get supplies when you don't have money, right? To set up all the infrastructures needed, let alone own a piece of land that is out of the grid. I mean, do these people actually go down these rabbit holes? And then I know a bunch of people that are talking about, getting into these communities, and it's like, honey, if you haven't done your fucking excavation great work on your family of origin, I guarantee you that is going to be a community shit show of all the unprocessed family dramas and dysfunctions of everybody's first cult clashing, which is why a lot of these communities are not sustainable, because it just won't work, right? And I know this because once upon a time I was part of a collective community, and it was a shit show, and I lost a lot of fucking money. And in hindsight, I was a fucking fool, okay? Because I didn't know these people. I didn't know these people just because we adhered to a list of checkpoints. Oh yeah, I believe in that. I believe in that too. Blah 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 blah. Doesn't mean that you're all on the same page or that you are all aligned. Okay, so that's one facet. The other thing too, now I'm kind of getting off track and going on tangents, but I think it's important to realize too that part of the cognitive dissonance is about not lining up your not lining up your values. You have to line up your values. And a lot of people will just make these blanket statements about natural law and adhering to them and not know a fucking thing about them, which I'm just finding like, wow, okay. And there is this sort of misunderstanding that I think gets perpetuated, especially when you have these content creators that just keep going on and on and on, and they share with each other, and it just becomes this echo chamber of misunderstanding. Does that make sense? Fred?
Muted. So I want the people who are in these communities to listen that to this very carefully, because she you brought a great point there. I mean, natural law on and by themselves are principles. So principles must be you must live by, and to live by these principles, you must understand them. And I at the risk of repeating myself, I think this is the part of the trivium that people forget.
Right.
And then you have the wisdom part. You know, um, for myself, I mean, the my family is my great work for me. I
Yeah.
mean, I never even thought in my life before that I had to have children, you know, and I enjoy it very much. It's not always easy because we're confronted to ourselves when you have children, and dealing with all this and the shadow work and
Yeah.
dealing with this, it's very it's what could be the word there, it's very very hard.
Yes. It's intense. It's intense. When you understand the responsibility that you have as a parent to raise your children from an awakened state. Okay. And which is super important because the awakened state is predicated on the great work, the great inner work that we have done within ourselves, and then the great work that you do as a couple in order to have this synergy of conscious parenting to be able to raise your children properly. And you know, there's so many distractions already where they are. And yes, a Facebook user just said children will test the hell out of you. Fuck yeah, they will. My
Yeah.
greatest teacher was a 4-year-old girl, my stepdaughter. Oh my God. uh, she was my greatest teacher ever because she was not going to uh, she was not going to give anybody any excuse to snooze. We weren't allowed to snooze. And also as a parent, because of the shitstoms to deal with in this modern day tacked out society, we have to apply great discernment what we are engaging in. And all of these points have to be in alignment with natural law, with the principles of natural law. It is not easy to do this and apply it. I
No,
have failed again and 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 again. Am I saying that I have my shit together? Not really. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we cannot be full of shit.
yes,
Uh,
I mean, there's a lot of things that and we're talking about parenting, and
mhm.
I think this generative principle, I think there's a lot of people who lack this. You have the seven like basic like natural, and then you have the care,
Mhm.
generative, loving,
Right.
holistic approach to it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people who cannot just figure it out, you know,
No.
because there's something lacking. And
Well,
then you have
their
this
their hearts aren't open. They haven't done the great work of excavating all of their heartbreak and their mind control and their traumas. And if you haven't done that, you can't show up in that holistic way. You can't do it. You don't have it in you. You will be triggered again and again and again and again and again. And that triggering again and again and again, I tell the people who work with me, you need to allow those triggers to be invitations to wake yourself up again and again and again and choose to live. Choose to align yourself with truth. Choose to align yourself with the natural law principles, come hell or high water. And will it cost you? Yes, it will cost you. It's going to cost a lot.
Oh yes, it's not gonna make you have any much friends.
Right.
Actually,
Right. That's true. Most of my friends, my old friends, they think I'm absolutely fucking nuts. Off my rocker, like, why can't you just be a normal person? Well, it's too late. It's too late,
yeah.
you know.
And I talk about care, and I think the first thing that we must do before even doing the shadow work is starting to care about yourself, caring um
Yeah.
about your emotions
Yes.
and intellect and your body and all these
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
And then I think there is the one thing that keeps people from doing it,
Yeah.
because this is some dark, um insidious programming that you
Yes.
have to confront, because this is cultural indoctrination, and you have
Absolutely.
intergenerational mind control that come from a couple of generation, few generation, who have been raised into a way that they do not teach you. If your parent did teach you how to do the great work for yourself and doing shadow work, good for you. But I think
Yeah.
it's like
I
most
I
people
think that is
didn't
a
have
that
it.
is a rarity. That's a rarity. And I'm afraid to say, I heard somebody say that we're born innocent. No, we're not. We're not. I'm going to be plain about it. I don't believe that to be true unless we were conceived by parents who were fully awakened, okay? Who fully excavated all of their bullshit, exited the matrix, and consciously conceived you. If that happened to you, far fucking out. But if you didn't have that, I did not have that, okay? We're born enslaved because all that mind control and programming from those lineages are downloaded to us the moment we are conceived. And that is why when we're born, we're so forgetful about who the fuck we really are as infinite loving awareness and consciousness having this human experience. Okay. So, somebody just mentioned the need for conscious conception. This is what I'm talking about. Doing the great work so that, and all you young people, do the great work so that you can partner with someone of very high value, high level consciousness. And the two of you can consciously conceive and create these beautiful children that are not going to be burdened by our laziness and our bullshit. Okay. Our the shame that we didn't have the courage to work through and embrace.
Breaking cycles.
Breaking cycles. Exactly. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think this is by the way, let's bring it back to natural law. This is the principle of rhythm. We have to understand to break these cycles, and these I can only take myself for an example, but I had the tendency to get sick in a part of the year near my birthday. I and after some work, after some shadow work, I don't know which one was part of it, but I think this shadow work did break this cycle for me. My parents were very cold. um they weren't there spiritually and intellectually nor emotionally for some reasons, for a few reasons, because there was a lot of suffering in my youth, mental suffering and emotional suffering. But what I meant to say is, you are not slave of this. And this is the thing there. You don't have to take the bricks and bring them all your life and pour them on into your shoulder all your life. It can be it. And nobody who's doing the shadow work, who did the shadow work, will tell you that's gonna be easy. Nobody. And even people, if I like me, I'm 10 years into the great work. I'm still like struggling on a couple of things, you know. I need I I broke the cycles with my children, and I'm homeschooling them. We're homeschooling them, and we try to respect them as and treat them as complete all beings with
Beautiful.
different, and we're letting them choosing. I didn't have that. I didn't have this choice. So we're letting them doing taking their making their own choices and doing their mistakes, because we're all the same, you know. We're making mistakes, and this, well, until we find another solutions, human are learning by making mistakes.
Yes,
And
we learn through contrast, and that's how it is. There's what we do and what we don't do, and what we do that fucks up, and what we do that, wow, works and creates these beautiful outcomes. And more of that, please. You know, so a lot of I like that you brought up the whole thing about rhythms, because the cycles, the death and dying cycles, we've got that. Then we've got the seasons, we've got that. Then we've got you know, women have their cycles, men have their cycles too. To pay attention to those rhythms, because these are clues about what needs to be aligned: heart, mind, body, soul coordination. These elements are speaking to us constantly, but if we're distracted and constantly in that distraction mode where the outer screen has hijacked our attention, or the matrix has hijacked our attention by their latest fucking you know, pandemic shit show, whatever it is, and you're all like all about that and not paying attention to what's going on here, what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your body. You don't know where your kids are. You have no idea. Okay? Because whatever it is has taken over your consciousness. You know, this is what we have to pay attention to. And does that mean that we have to be constantly, you know, doing the great work and all that? No, that's not what it means. That is not what it means. You know, sometimes I know that for myself, I got to take a break. It's good to take breaks so that you can integrate everything that you're excavating about yourself, and you can move into the rest cycle, the rejuvenation cycle, the integration cycle. It's a healing cycle that needs to be completed, because otherwise what happens is a lot of, and I know this from a lot of the new agers that I know, they're workshop junkies. It's like, we're just going to go here and go here and go here and go here. We're going to do this thing and that thing and this ritual and this ayahuasca thing. And then we're going to go. I mean, it's just like, it's manic, man. That's just like, and once again, what are you avoiding? Because quite often when we have those cycles of quiet, okay, there's an alignment that is being reset, and you're going to fucking miss it if you're out, you know, doing whatever it is that you're doing to distract you from totally feeling the decompression, totally feeling the contraction, because every expansion, kids, has an equal and opposite contraction.
Yeah, fear. I mean, let's talk about this a little bit, because I think it's one of the part there. I think it's very powerful still, even
Mhm.
if we have studied phenomena and psychology and things like that. I think fear is a powerful weapon, and in I want to
I agree.
get back to the great work and the freedom movement, because I think it's the flavor of the month. Um, some people are still afraid of what people will say about them and
Yes.
think about them.
Yes.
This is the one thing I need I need to bring up, because this is not about this. The great work is not a club. It's not a boy club. It's not a girl club. It's a everyone club. Even the people from the outside, particularly the people from the outside.
Yes.
We this this need, and this is why the LIBERcast exists. It's to break this echo chamber, like you told earlier. And I think this is the one part that it's the most difficult into a dogmatic context like
Yes.
this, because
Yes.
I'm a very objective. I love this work. I'm an objective person. I mean, what I meant by that is I look into things without taking positions and being emotional about it. And I think it's a very powerful tool when you have to go into straight into the occult, particularly because
Yeah.
this tendency of creating these circles, and people are like tapping on each other's shoulders, and
Yes.
they giving, oh, you did a great job.
Yeah.
Essentially, what is what is, people are scared to go outside the cube.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's the echo chamber of agreement, and which is why I tend to be the outsider looking in, because number one, I don't like gurus. I'm not a sycophant. I am not an order taker or follower to the fucking max. Okay. And so for me, what I'm noticing with a lot of these groups is that they will hang out with themselves, and it's good. It's good to collaborate. That's really wonderful. I tend to collaborate with people who are outside my purview. Okay, because then I bring them to my audience and know nothing about them, and it makes the experience more expanding. My layer of my universe expands with, like, our layers of the universe are blending right now, as with everybody who is watching this and who will watch this. Okay. And that is a great thing, because it expands the conversation, it expands reality. And we're not talking in a fucking echo chamber. It's good to be challenged. I built my practice speaking in front of people who were fucking throwing rocks at me, where guys were going, I know what you fucking need, lady. You need to get fucked. That's it. And people screaming at me like this. And I'm just like, whatever. Okay, fine. I don't talk in echo chambers, because that does not expand the work. You have to build up the courage and the wherewithal to be able to speak in front of a crowd where you're going to get rocks thrown at you. People are going to spit at you. I've been knocked down and spat on by women. My greatest haters have been the feminists, who call me a patriarchy apologist, because I'm talking about the integration of the masculine and feminine within. The masculine and the feminine are not men or women, they are the animating factors of our bodies, people. Boy, so you got to learn, all of you who are creating content and going out there speaking, you have to learn to speak in front of a crowd that hates you. You have to learn how to get in the middle of the fucking hornet's nest and take it. That's what I've done. That's what I've done the whole time. I haven't belonged to any of these clubs, and what's really fun is when you can get the attention and inspire one or two people in that crowd who's booing at you, or I've even had security actually escort me out of a talk because I was, I was deemed doing hate speech, and I wasn't. How is talking about the integration of the masculine and feminine within considered to be hate speech? I mean, wow. But that is how demented the fucking outside world can be, which is why we have to infiltrate it. You have to get out there, get out of your comfort zones, people, and fucking speak to other crowds. Do it. Do it. I mean, it's not easy, and a lot of it isn't going to be fun. But when you do it with practice, I actually thrive on that kind of shit. So I think for me, it was, I mean, I grew up in a war zone, so I'm okay with mortar shells kind of like going over me and getting rocks thrown at me. And I have a funny story because I actually spoke in Georgia one time, and it was a new age bookstore. And it was another one talking about the internal masculine and feminine. The internal masculine is the doing part. The feminine part is the passive principle, on and on. And all of a sudden you hear the door, which has all these bells. It opens and the bells are like going off. And the woman who was leaving with her posse of friends were going, "Why don't you go back to California and choke on some granola?" And I just fucking laughed my ass off, because that's the kind of stupid that will actually push up against you. It doesn't matter, and it just made it all that more fun, because after she left, it was a party, man, because everybody was on board with what I was talking about, because they were relieved to understand that they each had a masculine and feminine within that was animating their bodies. I mean, how amazing is that? So you can excavate and take from any of these events that you find yourself in where you don't get agreement. There's going to be some golden and platinum nuggets for you, I promise. And they are going to be your greatest supporters, because they're going to take you into the wild fucking unknown with people who know nothing about the masculine and feminine, who think that natural law is the nature channel or something. I mean, they're not. It's cool. It's really cool. So open yourselves up to that, kids. It's okay to be afraid of crowds and to be afraid of what people are going to think. And I've been there. And like for me, I was lucky because fear did not freeze me. It woke me up. It stoked me. It energized me. It electrified me to take action. So, you talk about, being animated by the masculine energies of being able to take action, and here I am. I'm actually learning how to relax, to be more in my feminine. I mean, aside from looking girly, I'm pretty guy-like in a lot of ways, because the doing is a natural thing for me. So
I wouldn't say that there's I'm not saying that um guys have all these masculine traits, these
yeah, that's
qualities,
that's very true. That's very true, because there's a whole other dark side to that. Um,
Sure.
that I've had many discussions about.
Yeah, I think I'll verify. Derek is saying Maria has her animus activated. I like it.
Very, very true.
So yes, I mean, this is the thing there. it's I enjoy this conversation, by the way. Thank you
Me
again
as
for
well.
being
It's
there.
it's totally fun.
So I want the people to think about what she said, because I think there's a point that need to be made there. Think we we're going into the great work, and we need we must do the inner work. I mean, I'm gonna talk by experience. I've been in the movement for at least 10 years now. And I've been doing I've made mistakes, you know, and I made sure up with the time. But there's this stagnant tendency that I these patterns that I can see. I realized that it was cyclical, and I stumble upon these people since years now. You have people who consider themselves great workers, and they're having all the beautiful things and all in the social medias and things, and you start to talk with them, and then you see these victimization patterns, these self-loathing patterns that start to emerge. We we have people into the anarchist movement, in the freedom movement, who are literally kneeling for this authoritarian paradigm, and they're telling you that we must have something over us, and we
Right.
have they we have people who talk about morality and uh, objective morality and natural law and all these things, and they didn't do the work. You know the things by heart. That's it. It took me 10 years to be able to start teaching and talk and invite people and get out of my comfort zone, you know? And
Yes.
why did I take 10 years? Simply because I had to see all the sides of it. And I come from a darker place in my past, you know? I I I mean, I'm not nobody's perfect. Nobody is, and you're not gonna do anything if you think that you're gonna start perfect. The I mean, let's be realist there, okay? We need a million, 2 million, 10 million teachers outside. We're not even there.
Hmm.
Even in our own imagination. We have great workers who are still at the bottom of the ladder, years into it, because people are afraid to confront themselves
Yeah.
and confront the world outside of this this circle jerking.
That is a good way to put it.
I mean, I've s- I mean, how much really are doing it? Even outside of the great work, how many how many people do you think we have to support? I I understand perfectly Mark Passio to be angry. He has all the right to be angry. Okay, because we're not even near what we need to start to make change. We have these people around who are telling you, oh, there's a great awakening. There's no great awakening. People are fucking sleepwalking around, even in the freedom movement. And I'm not taking the weight of these people on my shoulders.
I have better things to do. I have my children to take care. I have my shadow work. I have the podcast, and I
Yeah.
don't want to have to um, um, school my brothers from the great work. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not here to get into a bad relation for them. I'm here to heal the divide.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you need, you people, I'm just taking uh, sorry, Maria, I'm
No,
just
you're fine. You need to say this. It needs to be heard.
we're we're not we're it's we're too far, and you need to fucking grow up. This is what you need to fucking do. You need to get out of your fucking comfort zone and do something. It's not enough to um to make endless videos. It's good stuff, you know. Most of them are very smart people who are doing a great work to present to describe the prisons of the walls of the prison. But when it comes to from the inside of the group,
Yes.
we're even let's say I'm gonna tell that consciousness is a term that we used for now a few decades. We're just start to use and understand what consciousness is. We're not anywhere near to have like super in deep understanding about consciousness. A young race. We're blind. We're completely blind. It's like we're walking into a room and it's dark and you don't see anything, and you have to do this. I like this what Marpasio says about doing a puzzle into the darkness.
Yeah.
And then you have this childish victimization. Oh, the government did that, the government did that. No, it's not the government who did that. You did that to
Yeah.
yourself.
It's you. It's all you.
The people, not even one individual, everyone. It's not the government who who did this on you. They're taxing you. You do it to yourself because you're not doing anything. And the great work, oh yeah, absolutely. We have the government we deserve. Oh fuck yes. Fuck yes. And don't bring us this fucking new age shit that everyone is awakening. There's no awakening. People are fucking sleeping at the wheel, and they're bringing. It's like I feel like I'm in a car with these people, and they're driving, but they're sleeping at the wheel, and they're bringing me into the wall, bringing us, my children, your children, into the wall. So, at the risk of repeating myself again, just fucking grow up. Get out of this cube, the hypercube. Get out of it. If you're not ready to sacrifice, don't do it, because this is all about sacrifice. I don't care. I mean, I'm just like I I don't need to make friends, you know. I don't need it, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy having great conversation with people like Maria and Will Keller and Brendan Martin, who are smart guys. I have a lot of respect for them. Brendan Spencer and all these fiery hearts that we need to inspire us for the betterment, because we're doing it we're doing it for ourselves first. But if I didn't care about people, If I didn't care about their situation and the context, I wouldn't do the fucking work.
Yeah.
I would keep it for myself,
Yeah.
and maybe even fucking
Me as
use
well.
it against people, because you get cunning and smart when you're doing it, when you begin to understand. Sorry about that. It was my
No
rant.
apologies. Right on. Right on. We have to heal the divide within. You want to heal, divide, and conquer? You have to heal your own divide within.
I mean, all this emotion, this emotional thinking that keeps us from growing up, you know, because we're like scared children, scared little kids, and we're like that, and we are afraid to look at the world outside of the cube, because when we're inside of it, we feel comfortable, you know. Oh, you have all these people who are thinking like you, and you're sharing, and everything is fine. But when you come back to the real world, the real tangible world around you, it's very different. I don't know any great workers around me. Like, I have my friend, my good friend, Jim, and it's pretty much it, basically.
Yeah.
And it's scary,
Yeah. It's same with me.
and that's why social medias, it must be tamed. Must be tamed. For we need That's why Marpasu started this course, because we needed to have our own things there. So the own facilitating tools for conversation, because we have censorship, and then we have censorship inside the movement. We have gatekeeping. We
Yes.
have people who are admins and moderator into these pages, and they're keeping people out from that they don't agree with. And I talked about this a little bit into the table discussion. But it's so it I mean, you're dark. If there's dark occultists who listen to that, I want you on a fucking show. That's how serious I am. I want everyone to be in it, because not only we're keeping in them out, we're judging them for what they're doing only, but we're not considering the knowledge behind. Because whether you like it or not, they're there.
Yeah.
They're Satanists roaming around. They're most of the population. They are your brothers. They are your
Yeah.
sisters. They are your fathers and mothers,
And
and you
here's the
must
thing that's going
confront
to
them.
really upset people is that they have every right to exist and be different from you. That was a hard one for me to accept, you know? And and it is that kernel, that is the thing that you have to excavate within you, because if you're pushing up against it, I guarantee you some of that shit is in you, where you got to take a look at it and you have to excavate it. You've got to excavate it, take it out, own it, embrace it, just like embracing the shame, embracing all the trauma, embracing it all.
Very, very powerful.
And it
Um,
transforms.
yes, and let's mention it. The shadow work is not about getting rid of the darkness.
True.
Okay, this is the theme that keeps coming back, and people are saying, "Oh, I'm all about light and things like that." Liar,
Yeah, fucking liar. It's
liar.
that toxic positivity.
It-
Oh,
it's crazy,
yeah, it is
crazy.
insane. It is insane. And it's so funny because a lot of the people that I know who adhere to that, they have the most pensive faces. You know, it doesn't move. It's it's just kind of frozen in many ways. It's a bizarre, it's very strange. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, and you have and actually, we think we could like talk about this for hours, but basically you have some psychological um things that be taken must be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
Example, neurotism. I don't know if you're familiar with neurotism. It's not when you're neurotic, most people are 99 98 even us, we're
We all
we're
have our
a little
things.
bit we're a little bit like that. Essentially, neuroticism is not being able to control yourself, your emotions, and your reaction to things.
Yeah.
So we did, and it differs in degrees for different people, different individuals. And I don't like to use the word individuals because it says that you're divided inside. Um, most maybe we should use a person or being or things like that. Um, you have that, and then you have projection. Projection is a big one there. It's the elephant in the room. So we told earlier that the shadow work, it was always ever existing. You're always in that. There's no way you're gonna finish it. It's a, it's an ongoing things. You're gonna still live traumas in your life, in your future lives. That you're gonna see things. You're gonna live. You're gonna pass through things, and then these things were gonna have influence in your on your mind. The important things is to not get stagnant into it and to stop. I think the I like the phrase from Marpacio. It's there's two ways, do two mistakes that you can do when you start in the truth path. The path of truth is not beginning and not going all the way. And I think this part there is the big part, because what I meant to say is, even if you read countless books, even if you made presentation like fucking thousands of them, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, because essentially you're the this is inner work, and nobody will understand it like you. Nobody will interpret it like you did. And what about experience? What about the experience you cannot put into medias? What about this relation with yourself? What about this relation you have with a loved one? Like, with this relation that it's ever growing, and it's never perfect, but we have to go through it together. And I think this is the word key that I want to get. It's together. I mean, why why are we so divided into a community that should be wielded together? What do you think that would be the first thing that we should do to I mean, except of inner work, because we talk about inner work. What would be the thing that we should correct first? The first thing.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Well, I think it all goes back to the divide within. You have to know that you're divided. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
know that, let alone do the great work. They don't know they're divided. And then when you talk about projection, we talked about this earlier, that inner dialogue, the inner dialogue that we have about ourselves is what gets projected out into the world. So if your inner dialogue is not of the highest order and you're projecting that onto the world is going to project that right back at you.
I mean, what I meant
You
is,
can't
what can
create
you do?
community based on that because you're creating enemies.
What can you do? I'm not talking about the community. I'm talking about the great worker. What should be, except from the inner work? What the one person should do on his own life, except for inner work, in
Except for
your
the
own
inner
opinion?
work.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to answer that.
because I think
I don't think I think the inner work is where it all starts. You have to see that there is a divide. You
mhm,
have to feel and know and intuit on all these different levels that something is off,
yes,
that's going
but
to inspire you.
yes, I'm talking about the principle of correspondence.
There it is right there. You have to know something is off.
Your For you to realize that something wrong, you have to there it needs to be a environmental cause for it, because we're still under influence, whether you like it or not. So what, for me, I'm gonna try to do my best to explain it, because I'm limited by my language. The people around you, the food you take in, what kind of people you have around you, what kind of life do you live, in what context you live in.
Yeah.
Are you
It's
stuck in the big
all
cities,
encompassing.
it's
No, I am
crammed
not.
into other people, or are you living near the woods? Are you in contact with nature? Do you have people that you can count on?
Absolutely. I'm at 7,000 feet, y'all. I'm up in the mountains. I'm a mountain woman.
I mean, this I think it start with, we're gonna like go back into full circle now. I think love and care, it's the beginning of it all,
Mhm.
because shadow work and inner work cannot exist without care, cannot exist without love. So essentially, correspondence will show you what's wrong, not only by what you're looking inside, but what come from the outside. You're a magnet for what you are inside.
Yes.
You're gonna attract people that are like you. You're gonna attract the complete contrary, the complete personality people from you. I'm an intuitive person, highly intuitive. This is what shadow work brought me, and let me tell you, I'm getting all kind of people. I'm getting these. I usually I'm getting in contact from outside, like people, like beautiful people like you, and all the great workers I talk with. But I'm getting all these characters that are bringing me things, that are bringing me knowledge, and they're not knowing it, but they're doing it. There's yes, there's inner work, and I think this is the first thing that we should do as for the betterment of ourselves. But having the control, having this observation principle all around you is another fact, and what you're putting in your body. What do you eat? What do you drink? What do you put? What do you consume as music, and all these things, all these factors together can lead you to the, this path or not. And we have the habits of ignoring the people, the ignoring the world around us, because we're in this path of inside discovery, of self discovery. But we're this is why having children, and this is why having someone to love is so crucial into this path. But you have you I mean, I could not like think about being alone. You know, my children, without knowing it, they're helping me. You know, they're showing me the things, and this is where I want to get, and maybe get some solutions from you, Maria, at the same times. And what can we
Here,
do
here.
for? Do you would you suggest meditation, retreats, things like that? What would you
Well,
suggest for?
I live up in the high mountain deserts of the Southwest. I'm at 7,000 feet. I'm not around a lot of people. I prefer it that way. I mean, I have houses around me, but am I'm in the elements. And every morning before the sun comes up, I am out and about in the elements, rain, shine, snow, sleet. I like it. And when I was living in Europa, I did the same thing. I trekked around. I need to be outside. I need to be with nature. So I highly recommend. I meditate. I don't meditate for that long. I have a 15-minute meditation practice. It's more contemplative. And I extend that as a walking meditation as well. I don't do well with guided meditation, so I don't highly recommend that. But I do conscious circular breathing. So I do a lot of conscious breathing. I don't call it breath work. I don't like that term because breathing is as natural as, so I think it's important that you pay attention to your breathing, because what we're doing in living is we are animating our bodies with the masculine, feminine, and we cannot conduct that energy schlunking in front of a computer all day, being exposed to 5G radiation, et cetera, et cetera. Those of you who are out of the grid, off the grid, my hat is off to you, right on. Okay. But those of us who are exposed, we have to watch that. So I recommend being outside. I recommend exercise. I'm a martial artist lifelong. I'm going to be 63 in 2 weeks. Yay! So I have to keep moving. And, people say, wow, you look great. You must work hard. It's not that hard, honestly. But I've never let it go, because that animation that I go through and all the doing, my body doesn't feel good. And this is part of paying attention, sitting on my butt all day long. It doesn't feel good. Okay. It just doesn't make me feel like I'm alive. It makes me feel like I'm being compressed. So it really is making the choice of, what do you do the first thing you get up in the morning? What's your mindset like? I have beautiful views of the mountains, and I wake up to that every single morning, and I'm just amazed. And I say to myself, wow, I fucking live here. How lucky am I? How awesome that is. And it's not even luck, because I did it on purpose. I made the choice to move where I am, because it's clean, it's beautiful, it's in the elements. I get to hike around in nature. There's not a lot of cars. It's beautiful. And so that spiritual practice of communing with nature is important to me, because one of the things I love about nature, nature doesn't give two shits about you, about your feelings. And so quite often when I'm out and I'm in a snit, I'm in some kind of emotional snit, or I'm in some yaya gaga zaza that I got to work out, what nature will do is put a bobcat in front of me, and I gotta like wake myself up and go, oh, hi, kitty, you know, and are you gonna eat me? What's gonna happen? Or a fox, a mother fox will walk beside me to just wake me up into the sort of amazing glory of nature and her critters, because I'm in that sort of the feminine receptive mode of being magnetic and walking in this beautiful landscape that I've chosen to live in. So I think that's been part of my magical life, is really choosing consciously. I used to be in San Francisco. Holy moly. I don't miss that shit show at all. I don't miss those people. I don't miss it. It's beautiful, but it's hell. It's hell for me. It's too compressed, too dense, too much drama with cars and stuff like that. So, being where I am now, I'm blessed. And that is part of my spiritual practice. And I'm an early riser. I get up at 4:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30 every morning. Um, because I have my meditation practice. I've got uh, moving my body, the hiking, being out in nature, and then I have certain health things that I do for myself each and every morning that are important to me. And then
So
I work the bag downstairs. So
so
it's,
this is about self-love,
yeah,
basically.
this is about self love.
Yeah.
My channel is Love, Truth, and Beauty. My website is Love, Truth, and Beauty, and it's that way for a reason, because it's not about me. It's about those frequencies and emanating those frequencies. So, one of the things that I've had to do in my life is purge toxic relationships, and doing what I do, hand holding survivors of trafficking. I hear the worst stories anybody could possibly hear. And there's some days where I can't fucking take it. I don't want to fucking hear it. But one of my gifts is that I have the gift of listening and hearing and being a very calming voice of reason and nurturing. Okay. And that's both masculine and feminine. And so part of what I need to do in my self care routines is make sure that my frequency is high. So I pay very good attention to my thought quality, my self talk, my self talk. I like myself. I love myself. I really like who I am. I'm one of those people. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, you're kind of, I like who you are. I like who I am. And it used to be when I was young, I didn't like who I was. We are programmed to have this negative self talk that, and I've said this before, gets projected out in the world. The world comes right back at you. So with this elevated self talk, I have these wonderful interactions, invitations with you, and with so many people that I have met over the last, like, say, 7 years since I made my egress out of San Francisco. I mean, it's amazing. And, it's like the shit happened. Yeah, I got deplatformed on YouTube. Shit. It happened, and I was just like, is it the end of the world? No. You
No, it's
just,
not.
no. I was in the fetal position for a while, but then guess what? I started a new one. You just move on. But it's a choice. And did I have to do a bunch of shadow work about that? Yeah, I did. Because a lot of my negative self talk was about, they're going to come after me. And
Yeah,
of
you have
course,
this is what I'm calling noise.
yes. And that's exactly what it is. It is static. It's
Yes.
static noise and it's a lie.
Oh yes. There's this conflict. We still have sometimes. I mean this selfish, egoic part of ourselves that keep on coming back. I don't know if you understand what I meant. I mean, but this
Mhm.
is my experience. You I'm the first thing I did when really opened up my eyes, it's started talking gently to myself, and
Yeah,
meditation
yeah,
and contemplation has has been doing good for me.
beautiful.
You have to, like, meditation is good for killing the noise, and then the image and that you have when you start meditating, and then after that it's having it, I think the thing is gratitude.
Beautiful.
Gratitude
Yes,
for yourself, gratitude for your body, gratitude for the sun that you wake up this morning and you can see the sun this
yeah,
morning. It's a blessing. And being um, yes, being aware of toxicity around you. I think that the word toxicity is very good for this, because this is a we're living into the plasma of everyone surrounding us. So I think we must confront ourselves in the way of giving, just being grateful for what
yes,
you are and the work that you did and the path. It's not done, but you started, and that's the hardest part there.
yes,
And the most people don't go over there, don't go over that. They're confronted to it, and they rather like hide or
yeah,
flee from it.
yeah,
But if
yeah,
you did start it, the work, congratulations,
yeah,
you're halfway to there.
yes.
And
Beautiful.
being great, like, having grateful being grateful for what you are, for the work that you did, for I mean, if you have, like me, I'm very blessed in my life. I don't have nothing to complain about.
Yeah,
But there are some people who are suffering. They're alone, and these people need us. These people need hope, and it's not gonna be TV who's gonna bring it to us, bringing to them. It's gonna be light people, and I'm not talking about this new age garbage there. You know, you need enlightened people around you. You need
yeah,
smart people. Surround yourself with smart people,
yeah,
with,
yeah,
with people that are gonna appreciate you, and you're gonna appreciate them, because
absolutely.
it we it's so important. Just time, just your currency. Your true currency is time.
Hmm.
So be mindful of where you put your time on.
Yes. Yeah.
The time you have with other people, and appreciate it. Appreciate everything that you have, because it can be taken away anytime. So I love this phrase from Gandhi. um Live, learn every day like it was the last one. And I think it's a good mentality to start with. And I would like, I mean,
Beautiful.
we're almost 2 hours in, like 1 hour and 40 minutes now. And I want to close with these words, and thanking you again, Maria, for your time, for
You're very
sharing your time
welcome.
with me.
My pleasure.
Well, I was talking about time, and I think I have gratitude for all of us, of all the people who are supporting them. There's people who was listening to it all the time, and the people took time to comment. Will, Tanya, Derek was there, and I cannot see the name there, but
Oh,
I'm
thank
gonna see
you
you in
all.
the comment section. So thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Tanya. Aw,
Yes, you're
sweet.
gonna have a new subscriber, as I see. So go see Marja West stuff.
Wesh,
I've been there.
wesh.
Yeah. So go see her work. Just can you repeat that for the people who
Yes,
was
so
not there in the
it's
beginning?
love truth and andbeauty.com, and it's a new website. I figured out a whole bunch of stuff on it. Holy moly. And redid some things, redid the blogs, so that's up. And my YouTube channel is Love Truth and Beauty. And yes, and I'll give you a warning. I swear like a truck driver.
It's okay. It gave me the insurance to do it myself. You know, I try to not do it, but sometimes I'm leaking.
Oh man. But I really enjoy what I do. And it's funny because you were talking about making the decision to just pay attention to your environment. And part of what I shifted that was a major game changer for me, say in the last 7 years, was to stop it, my combative nature, which I tend to be. So I'm a little bit like Mark, where I just I just want to fight sometimes. I want to hit people. And it's like, girlfriend, stop. You can't do that. You really can't fucking do that. It's not cool. It's against natural law. And some days somebody's gonna hit you back. And yeah, man, it happened. So my point is that the game changer for me was really embodying that feminine loving consciousness and that masculine directiveness, which is so important. And it means purging out all the stuff that really doesn't work and doesn't serve. And so coming from that love, the truth and the beauty, and that's what it's about for me. It's not just about deactivating trauma and doing the great inner work and doing the great work and sharing what you can and giving back. It really is about just being a good person and moving from your heart in everything that you do and say with great intention. I hold everybody large. I do. I really do. I might get a little frustrated and upset and just kind of like go off a little bit. But I assure you, everything that happens like that, it comes from my undying love for seeing everybody large as they truly are, divine in the flesh, not their programming, not their unconsciousness, not their traumas, not their woundology, victimization, or their shortcomings, but to really see them as they truly, truly are, divine in the flesh. So that's
That's
where I
beautiful.
come from, and
That's beautiful.
I'm on it.
Yes. So a little thing before we go. Tomorrow I'm having uh Odysseus. His name is not common. Odysseus is gonna be there tomorrow to talk about shadow work. So we're gonna expand a little bit on that
Awesome.
and talking about his recent book. So it's gonna
Howdy.
be very interesting. And as usual, there's gonna be a discussion table on Friday, Friday at 9 p.m. EST. So be there. It's gonna be awesome. We've not decided what would be the subject, but it's gonna be awesome, like as usual with all these great people. So be there and passez une bonne soirée tout le monde. Bye bye. À la prochaine.